What's up, everyone? Dem Boys back at it. We're going to go ahead and wrap up our single back doubles north on this video. This was going to be 2 videos. We got 7 different setups. I just want to get to strong eye close because it's basically done and ready to go, and even the game film is more or less shot. So let's focus on slot corner first. If you haven't checked out this scheme, go check out the other portions. It's really broken down by motion to make things look the same. So we, did different motions, now no motions. For the run plays to work into this scheme, the best way to do it is against man, because then when you're motioning a receiver into the play, the man follows, you just kind of jumble things up. So that would be the best time, I guess, to run the run plays with no motion, but you mix it all in, right? So for this setup, we're going to focus on a big shot first. We're going to go ahead and max protect. We're going to take X, put him on a fade, and we're going to be looking to get, this is a cover 3 beater with X up the seam. Now, if you're familiar, B is a really good post. You could leave that in, but I prefer to leave that in when it's more of a primary focus. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and put him on a dig. And there we go. Similar setup to what we've seen before. Our purpose here is just to try to hit the beater. The read that you're going to make, other than obviously B if nothing's open, is X and Y, right? So if the corner follows X, you're going to hit Y or B. If the corner follows Y, you hit X for a touchdown. And I usually let go of the ball just before he's even with the safety. And you're going to pass lead this out. Boom. Easy one-play touchdown. All right. So we'll start there. Decent start. Now again, you need to be on this side of the field, so flip it if you're not. Reason being, we need to have the wide side of the field in order for the corner to feel like he has to bite down on Y. Because if you're on the short side of the field, the purple can cover it. So this is going to be how I will simulate if they take the match principles out or make it so, however they do it, X gets followed. And there's a purple, right? So in theory, you wouldn't be able to hit Y, you wouldn't be able to hit X. If the user's on B, then you're bagged, right? Well, not quite. So what I did there, and we'll just go and watch the replay, is I pass led that straight up and gunned it, and then I just switched onto the receiver and swerved up. So all I'm doing is I'm hitting B to switch to the receiver, pressing up, and then swerving back around, and then you kind of hit A to get that possession catch, right? And really, if you let off the direction pad and you're anywhere near the ball and hit A, they'll kind of auto come back, so you don't even have to have the best user to do that. And really what I'm doing is I'm forcing an animation where the ball, where I'm not going to end up out of bounds trying to catch the ball, or it's not contested, see? So this step up just buys me a little bit of separation from the defender because of the angle I took, and then buys me another second before my receiver is going to step out of bounds. And then we hit A, and that's how we're going to trigger that animation to get that right there on the sideline. So definitely something to come on into practice mode. Run that a few times. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to have coming, guys. How I'm going to show you with corners, how you can low point them and come back. I mean, it's to the point where you really better cover corners with me. And I mean, you better cover them. Because if there's an inch of daylight, you're going to start to see on my videos, give an inch of daylight on those corners. And we can manipulate things a bit with the click on to make it really dang near unguardable. So let's get into our next setup. Let's see. So our next setup, I actually do like to be on this hash, or if you're on the other hash, flip it. You just want to have the 2 guys do the short side of the field. I'll show you why. This is going to be a slant setup. So I'm going to go ahead and block RB. I'm going to take A, put him on an out. I'm going to take X, put him on a slant. So what we're creating is a high-low between A and X. We're coming over to the right side of the field. and a high-low with Y and B, which is, again, a beater. This is chock full of them. Do not play cover 3 against this. Don't do it. And really, it just depends. Are we looking at clouds, hards, or purples? Doesn't matter if they're in 2, 3, 4. You know, so I'll show you how things would look here. We're not even going to throw the ball, and I'll just kind of talk you through how it would look with different adjustments. Alright, we'll first focus on the right side of the field. So you're going to notice here, since they're in a purple, the tight end is going to be the one wide open, right? The purple is going to stay back. See, right when he thinks about covering the tight end, all of a sudden he sees the slant and he pulls away. So you would just hit the tight end. Easy money, right? If they're in like a cloud or a hard, they bite down on the tight end. Depending, you know, if it's cover 2 in the cloud shaded up, you're still going to be throwing the out. But either way, it doesn't really matter, right? You just make that read. Simple enough. Now here is where you could go ahead, and I've talked to you about that post being open early. You can hit the post open early here. I like to click on and come back to the ball and dive. And I will show you that. So you could hit that here, it's wide open the whole time, and now here it's a beater. Right, that corner is not going to get back to it in time. And because they played purples, and the corner kind of bit down, you're not going to have that open. That'd be the one route that would not come open. But if they're not playing purples, I just showed you how to get that open, even if it's a little bit tighter. Odds are it wouldn't be tight though. So that's going to be the next setup with the beater. I will show you that throw real quick to B, how I'm going to do that. So just watch how I rip this into B. So what I do is I bring my stick down at a 45-degree angle towards me and left, and then I'm just clicking onto the receiver and pressing over to the left and maybe down just a little bit to come back to the ball, and then hitting A. And it's going to go ahead and trigger that dive animation. That's really nice because if it is a tighter throw, if the corner does a better job with his match, you can see right here, right, my angle changes. Boop, I cut in. That's going to buy you a few steps of separation against a match. If this high safety is down lower, that's going to change your angle to where you trigger this dive animation and he can't knock your block off before you get to the ground. So, again, a few things for you guys to go ahead and practice. You will be so glad you did. Go spend an hour in practice mode. Trust me, you will be glad you did. Best hour you'll ever spend. Or you can go spend money on coins, right? Or you could just spend an hour in practice mode doing that and then win more games, have more fun, and earn more coins. I'm just saying. Just saying. Alright, so next we're going to get into a little Max Pro dig setup. Something I'd use a little bit less, honestly. But nonetheless, can be helpful for heavy blitzers. So, Max Pro, take B, put them on in. There you go. Pretty simple. If they're pressed up in man, you could take Y and put them on a go. But really what we're doing here is we're just going to, if they're blitzing heavy, so we'll just blitz all linebackers to simulate that. We're going to have space over the middle. You might have the corner out. Otherwise, we're going to try to put the user in a bind over the middle, right? Who do you cover? Whichever way the user goes, you try to throw the other way. Yeah, pretty simple. Just a little something to throw in. We're not going to spend time on it. So this is another good setup. Doesn't matter what side of the field you're on for that setup. I prefer to be on this hatch for corner routes, but doesn't really matter. For this setup, it really doesn't matter at all. So we're going to block RB. We're going to take A, put him on an out. We're going to take Y, put him on a little hitch. So what we want to do here is simple high-low reads, right? What does the user do? If the user bites down on Y, we're probably going to rip B. If the user runs over on A and jumps down on A, B or Y, right? So again, you're just going to make a real simple read. Doesn't, again, matter as much what defense they're in, because you're really more so reading the user, because these other routes will probably all come open against most defenses, maybe not A. Obviously, huge hole there. And A helps bring that open. That's part of the reason I like to have A on an out when I'm throwing B as well. So another reason not to leave this in when you're doing the seam play. Obviously Y, X. So just kind of read the field as opposed to the coverage that doesn't matter as much. So those are going to be the plays that you can run no matter what. Now I'm going to give you 3 more setups where you need to have at least slot apprentice. Alright guys, so let's check that out. And we're just going to narrate some in-game footage to check that out. And then we're just going to roll the in-game footage for these setups right after that. So this is going to be the crosser setup. We're just going to take our X receiver and go ahead put him on a crosser. Tight end can go on a out. I recommend the out. You could put him on a drag. So you see we still have the beater action going back to that side. That is the preferred hash. I do want to have the 2 receivers to the short side of the field for this setup because it will improve the beater. If you're not super worried about the beater, you don't think they're going to give you that, you can do it from this hash as well. The crosser will obviously take less time to get across the field. If you do it from that hash, you do have a little more room to throw the flag route, although I've kind of shown you how to lead that up and swerve around coverage, so that doesn't matter as much. But you can see there how much room that I had for that flag, because what ends up happening is people will start to really back off in a big way and try to shade everything deep. And that's when, the tight end on an out, or that's why I say also a drag potentially, can become real helpful. If you didn't want to have any additional protection, you could put like the tight end on a drag and the running back on an out and create like a little kind of a mesh concept underneath it as well. Alright guys, so this is a phenomenal little setup out of curl drag. You do need to have hot route master. You see that click on? That's why you click onto the receiver and come back, alright? So what we're doing here is X goes on a flag, Y goes on a post. There you go. Simple enough, right? You do have an option with the tight end. You could put him on a out or a drag. Up to you. This is an alternate setup where you could just leave the hitch kind of or curl little route in, or you could turn that into a curl or a hitch as well. For this setup, I do like to be on, well, I guess it doesn't really matter for this setup which hash mark you're on. If you're on the other hash mark, your post will get across the field quicker, just to the other side of the field if that's what you want to throw. Note that. While we're talking about the hash marks, so for this setup, the post flag setup, I do like to be on the other hash mark, especially if they're in zone, because then you have better luck with the beater over the top. That having been said, here they were in man, right? So I wanted more room for that flag, because I knew I was going to be hitting the flag route. Or I suspected I was going to be hitting the flag route. You do have the option to have less blocking. So this is going to be a red zone setup. For the red zone setup, you'll notice I'm going to take the single receiver by himself, and I'm going to go ahead and put him on a in. Obviously, because we don't need the beater, right? You could put him on an out or a hitch as well, but I think in is the best option. So again, just wanted to show this red zone setup with less blocking, right? So now I have the tight end on a go. You'll note I blow my read here. My post is coming wide open. But, that's a good way to help pull that open. is to have something over and under, as we know. So that's why I wanted to have the tight end on a go. Then I just simply didn't make the read because, well, I'm new to making these reads. This is just something I wanted to show you. You could switch who runs the flag and who runs the post just to confuse, especially if somebody's maybe using like a manning one of these guys up. So do note that that is an option. And then again, I just wanted to show you the alternate setup. Last time I showed you throwing the hitch. This time I wanted to show you what would happen or how the post would look if that's going to come open for you. So we're basically kind of using it like a crosser, in essence, is what we're doing. Alright, so this is going to be our seam beater that I talked to you guys about. You'll note I'm on the wrong side of the field here to do it. I would want to flip my formation. I'm showing you this because I want to focus on the flag, and you're going to watch how I pass lead up, click on, and swerve to create some extra space, and get that C route. That's just something that in general, guys, if you need to create a little space for those C routes, I wanted to show you guys how you can do that. Now here we're obviously on the correct side of the field, but I don't have a ton of room, right, to throw this before it's out the back of the end zone. So I also wanted to show you again the benefit of clicking on and just giving a little swerve so my guy doesn't go out of bounds. Boom. I mean, as well as obviously show you the beater. Alright, so this is going to be our slant setup. Notice I told you it doesn't matter what hash you're on. I do like this hash here better if I'm trying to hit the slant, the out, or the post earlier. Primarily the slant or the post earlier tend to come along better on this hash. Now, when you're on the far hash, as you'll see in the second play setup here, that's going to be a little bit better for the beater, or the out would be the things that are a little more likely to come open from this hash. The post early is as likely to come open no matter where you are on the field. Alright everyone, I hope y'all enjoyed that footage. Man, for me lately, I've been really digging on that flag post out of the curl drag a lot. And then just kind of starting to hit people underneath after they back up. So that's, do expect some kind of a follow-up where I create a play where everything is really underneath, just as a play that I don't think belongs in the scheme, but as a play that once you've hit people over the top enough, you'll want to then mix in a bit. So be on the lookout for that over the course of the next week. Otherwise, guys, Strong Eye Close is coming. Definitely make sure you hit that bell, like, comment, subscribe. Damn boys, peace.